let me go with Tom Farrell then, who is going to talk to us about the kit that he's building. It's going to be right behind the scratch built John Allen engine house that he's been building for us for the last few shows. So, Tom, welcome back. The engine house just turned out beautifully.
Thank you very much. I am quite honestly pleased that that one's completed. That was exercise in patience, you know.
Yep.
But it's right next to this one. So, as most of you know, for the past 33 or 34 shows, who's counting? I normally scratch build, but I purchased this kit 2 years ago at a Al Judy show and in Harrisburg, and I had its spot in mind right next to this engine house, which was only in my mind at that point. So as you may recall from last week, I left this 12-inch gap between my engine house and this future tunnel. This is a shantytown. This is the outskirts of Shantytown, and I wanted a engine maintenance repair facility here. And this is also a junction of a standard gauge line that goes into this tunnel and off into the sunset, and then my narrow gauge. So this is the kit itself. It's by Foggy Mountain Models. Mark Shire, he's a friend of mine. He has a whole series of kits, and I urge you to take a look at those. They're pretty nice. I have to confess, when I opened this one up, I was sort of intimidated by the number of parts on this. But then when I got to building it, it was just so intuitive that it just went right together. You just can't think about all the number of parts and just have at it. I did it in less than a week. Now, I did kitbash this kit. I like to have all my models on this aircraft grade plywood. So I sketched out basically on this this plywood where the main structure would go. And then I proceeded to what I always do. I make a foundation out of 1/4-inch material. This is basswood. Looks like I have some poplar in there. Basically, I built up this foundation, which is about a 1/2 inch high, and runs the perimeter of the building. To be honest, I don't know how you would build this building without putting a perimeter on it, because there's a skirt that goes out around the perimeter of the building. The building consists of basically two old rail cars, is the concept. There's a close-up of the corners. I just like to make them flush. I use a square to make sure everything's parallel and perpendicular, and it's all super glued together. I did a test fit of the plywood and the location of the foundation just to be absolutely sure this would all work. There's my John Allen engine house. Looks like I do a little touch up there. And so it does fit well. That's 3 inches by 12 inches. This is the skirting that runs around the perimeter of the building. There's two, we'll call them porches on this thing. I used a square to draw in the line, and then I super glued this wainscoting around. I wanted it to be square. And there's the basically the finished perimeter. Again, I just used the square to make sure I was on line. I had to cut these to fit, and just around I went. Now, I'm not entirely sure, but there was not enough material to do the entire perimeter. I don't know what the story is there, but I had the same material. You never get two pieces of wood to match, but since I was going to be painting this, I knew it would it would come out in the end. This is the back of it anyway. So I put my own material in the back here. This is the first rail car, which is going to be used in my case as a maintenance shed. The one thing that I noticed is it's a laser cut, and that's these burn marks. These burn marks work to my advantage because they really enhance the weathering, as you'll see later on. So I use the burn marks to my advantage. This is extremely fragile. I managed to break it. I broke both of them in the end. See how it's broken? It's very fragile because not only is there a scored, it's a scored material to simulate siding, wood siding. It's laser cut in very small cross section here. So I broke both of them just for good measure. But then I braced it, leading credence to my theory to brace the living hell out of everything. So I braced it, then I super glued it, then I sanded it flush. You can't even tell that it's been broken there. It's very strong now. So I braced the corners, I braced these edges. This is the second rail car, which is a refrigerator car. I did not break this one, but I did brace it. I braced this with 1/4 inch material, basswood. This door remains on in the model. So there are the two rail cars. They're shorty 40-foot box car on this side, modified. The little windows are cut in. And then a refrigerator car that's pretty much used as is. And I did make this addition here. I thought it would be neat to connect these two decks or porches. So I put this structure in place here, which is 2x6s, 4x4s. It's just going to be a mechanism to hold the decking that I'll later glue on, I think, in perhaps the next photo. Oh, this is the end where the end of the box car where there's a entryway. So I had to extend the foundation out and put wainscoting out around that. So now this has the trusses on it. And I put a wash of that stainless steel vinegar that I'm in love with now. I use that as a base coat. You can see the burn marks from the laser. They turned black after I put this vinegar steel mixture on here, which is perfect. It really enhanced the weathering, as you'll see. There's the vestibule in the end. It's an entryway. It's a handsome little model. That's what caught my eye a couple of years ago. And there's another view of it. And yet another view of the flooring. Goes together really rapidly. There's a close-up. I had to notch these. These came with the kit, these trusses. I had to notch these with a little tiny razor saw so that they would fit. This little overhang would go back to haunt me. I should have made that flush like this one and this one. If I ever had to build this again, I would cut that slope to fit these. They don't match. This is larger. This is larger than this. They should match, but they don't. Then I began painting it in Jason Jensen fashion. I took a acrylic paint, a white, just plain white, and a sponge, a very fine sponge, and I put the paint on a top of a plastic lid and then I put my sponge on the paint and just sponged it all around. I specifically didn't put the deck on because I knew I would get sloppy with this. And I did the same on the yellow. All my railroad structures on the layout feature yellow and green. It's the company colors for maintenance buildings. And the refrigerator cars just look cool in white, so I left that white. And here I began painting a brownish gray for the wainscoting. Again, this thing went together fairly quickly. And there it is with the decking. I just took 1x6 material and I stained it with a black gray wash. I cut it on my chopper and just super glued these on one at a time. So this is part of the kit bash, is the fact that I added this, and show you. The roofing material they supplied is cardboard. I typically don't like to work with cardboard, but I'm still out of 1/16 inch plywood. And I even made a trip to Lowe's, or Menards, actually, one of my sources for that material. They didn't have any. I should have went to Hobby Lobby or Lowe's, but I just said, all right, I'll just use the cardboard. So first time for me with cardboard. There's looking down at it again. Now here's the other license I took. The kit did come with shingles, but I had ordered these Bar Mills Coastal Brown shakes originally for my John Allen engine house, but I used Monster Model Works HO scale shingles for that. So I had several packages of these, and I thought it would be neat to use them on this model. So when you do shingling like this, you just like conventional shingling, you put the first one on in reverse. That's important because if this was 180 degrees and this was the first layer, you would see the black here. You know, I painted this black to seal it with acrylic paint, but you always put on the first row reversed. These are the laser cut doors and windows. I just use this Tamiya deep green, same trim I used on the inside of the John Allen engine house. Now there's those shingles. I think they look pretty fair, you know, and see, there's that reversed course. That's why it's important to put the first one on in reverse. And I sort of leaped here. These are those windows you just saw. This came with the kit. This is a stove stack, basically 3 pieces made out of plastic. This is I don't know what's going on here. I don't think that's on the original or finished model. This was just painted the chocolate brown and then chalked. This was painted flat black and then chalked up to simulate weathering. I just chalked everything. I shouldn't say chalk. I used pan pastels everywhere to weather it. That's the overall look. I'm not done with the refrigerator car yet. That's next. There's a better view of it. The original kit did not have this green trim. I added these 1x4s. I wanted this to have some sort of company look to it, so I wanted this yellow and green. So it would be instantly recognizable, at least to me, that it's one of the rustic, buff, and old Gothic maintenance buildings. There's the end.
Need some steps.
Yeah, I didn't put them on yet. It comes with steps, or you have to be an athlete and jump down or up. Yeah. No, I have steps. There'll be steps here and here. Not on there yet. There's the this corrugated metal material comes with the kit pre-cut to the correct width. You have to cut it to length. I painted the shiny silver, metal. I got out the poison paint, the Floquil Old Silver, and I painted it silver, let it dry, and then with a sponge and acrylic paint, I sponged on a rust color, and then I hit it with pan pastels. That's pretty much the finished surface. These are little plastic details that come with the kit. These were simply painted black, super glued on there, and then I went, after they were on there, I went with a Vallejo acrylic wash, pre-mixed rust, and I just rusted everything. And there's where it belongs, and there's the finished model. Sorry, not a lot of steps in there. These are just plastic details that come with the kit. They're just painted black and weathered and super glued on there. Same with these roof latches. But it fits the scene really nice. There's an engineer going to his locomotive. There's my engine house. Here's the ballasted O scale track. And there's the ballasted On30 track and a little cinders in between. So that's the finished scene coming up. Next week, I intend to do the tunnel that you saw in the earlier photos on the right. So, and then this Shantytown section should be finished. So that's what I've got for you this evening. Yeah.
Fantastic modeling. Very, very nice. Anybody have any questions for Tom?
That rusty roof is very effective. I really like that effect.
It was literally just 3 steps. Old silver, Floquil, a acrylic rust sponged on there in the best Jason Jensen fashion. And then the pan pastels are really 2 or 3 colors of those. And I mean, it went very rapidly. Either I'm getting very good at it or it's just very easy. But it came out really nice. Yeah, thank you.
Do you have problems with the kit, or did it fall together pretty good?
It was intimidating when I opened it up because it looked like there was 1,000 parts in this thing, and there were no photographs. The only photograph was the picture on the box. And when I just did the mindset that I'm building up 2 rail cars that sit on a foundation, and I didn't even look at the instructions after that. I just said it's just all text, the instructions. And I just said, I don't need instructions. Who needs instructions? I'm building 2 rail cars that sit on a foundation. And that was my approach. And that's how it came together. You know, I didn't even use the instructions in the end. If you read the instructions, you probably get scared and put it back in the box.
Well, it looks great. Nice job. Thank you so much, Tom.
Thank you. Yeah.